Kid Icarus Uprising is one of my favorite video games of all time. It just sucks that when Pit made it into Deathbattle, they downplayed him to like the absolute extreme. But to be fair, they did the same thing with Sora. So today, I'm going to talk about when Pit flew from Earth to the nearest star in about 5 seconds. Hello Internet, Jojo here, and what got me onto this topic today is actually a post from someone on Reddit who was trying to debunk it. But we'll talk about that a bit later. So this feat in particular has been calculated several times before, most notably on the Versus Wiki. But I have a problem with some of their numbers because, you see, in their numbers, they assume that Pit was flying to the nearest star. That's the numbers they use, which is very reasonable. That's generally how you will do it. When no standard distance is given or no endpoint, you generally lessen it to this nearest one. So they assume that Pit flew from Earth to the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, which 100% okay, which makes him millions of times faster than light, but there's a problem. You see, Proxima Centauri is a red star, but this star that Pit is flying to is blue. There's a massive difference there between a red star and a blue star, and I just can't believe the Versus Wiki kind of missed that, or maybe they just chose to miss it. But the point is, they can't be the same star because of that. Blue stars are typically white dwarf stars. They're much older stars. And the nearest white dwarf star to us is actually Sirius B, which is not all that far away from Proxima Centauri. Sirius B is about 8.6 light years from Earth, where Proxima Centauri is about 4.2 light years from Earth. Meaning that in the grand scheme of things, they're not that far apart, because the space is very big after all. And those are some of the nearest stars to us. We're lucky to have a white dwarf star that near to us, honestly. So taking that distance and plugging it into the numbers that the Versus Wiki had, because that's really the only issue I have with them, is the endpoint. And we find that Pit is about 18 million times faster than light. Insane, crazy, absolutely nuts. And we might think that this doesn't make sense, but let's talk about those debunking things that the person tried to debunk. One argument that stood out to me against this was that these clouds were still visible when Pit should have been moving at these massively faster than light speeds. But there's a problem. We don't know what it actually looks like to be moving at these speeds. That could just be a representation of his vision kind of dilating, the edges of his vision kind of blurring. It could be space dust he's going through. It could be a weird faster than light motion blur. It could be Palutena using her magic to protect Pit from that debris as he moves at that speed. In short, we just don't know, but it's almost certainly not actual cloud because Pit never experienced that again in that story, which you would assume he would. Second claim is that this was a portal of some sort, which makes sense. Palutena is a goddess. She's teleported around all the time. Problem is, we know she can open portals, but we know exactly what they look like, and they don't look like these clouds. Palutena's portals generally one of two things. They are a door opening in space, as we see at the start of every mission in Kid Icarus Uprising, or they are a beam from space, I guess, or a beam from the sky. Because Palutena, that's how Palutena gets him out of missions. He summons him back, just like that. They don't look like this cloudy stuff. It's just not how they look. And it would make no sense because Palutena is the goddess of light, not of clouds or weather. That would actually be more Viridi's ability, because she's the goddess of nature, which, while it doesn't include clouds, she does know Phosphora, who is lightning and thunder and all that, but not Palutena.
Attention, head of Viridi! You'd best sharpen your claws! I am the servant of Palutena, goddess of light now!
Enough blabbity blab. Now let's get to the main act!
But the main point of this argument is that no other character in the franchise has done anything like this. But that's not really true at all. So the reason that Pit is going to this star in the first place is to get the sacred treasures, as Palutena hid them there.
Remember the 3 sacred treasures you used against Medusa long ago?
Of course! The Mirror Shield, Arrow of Light, and Wings of Pegasus.
Right. I hid them in case of an emergency. You know, so they wouldn't get stolen. I hid the 3 sacred treasures in the constellations.
At some point in the last 25 years, because there is a 25-year gap between when the sacred treasures get used, Palutena went to the stars, hid them there, and came back. So maybe she teleported, maybe she didn't. But it's very clear that she went there and came back, and at no point was it alluded that she was gone for very long. Also, they weren't in the same place anymore, right? These sacred treasures were not in the same place because the space pirates had already gotten them.
Wait, what?
You know, a pirate ship in space. Its crew travels the galactic sea, robbing the heavens and constellations.
That's awesome. I mean, evil.
So, even if she could teleport to where they were, she couldn't teleport where they are because the space pirates already got them. Also, the space pirates. There are pirates in space who travel between stars collecting them, which means that there are characters in Kid Icarus Uprising who casually travel between stars within their lifetime. And we see that there are probably dozens of stars in the ship's hold. So, assuming these people don't have lifespans that much longer than humans, they didn't spend thousands of years going between these places. They probably just casually did it. That being said, Pitt is also capable of flying just circles around the pirate spaceship, which is in turn able to cross stars. And there's the Kraken. But even outside this chapter, the Aurum.
It's all in the Book of Divine Prophecy, chapter 84, section 3. Beckoned by destruction and corruption, the Aurum are born from and return to nothing. They travel across the galaxy to swallow up the heavens, land, and seas.
I don't remember that.
That's the Aurum. So they travel across the galaxy and consume. So the Aurum appear on Earth literally overnight.
Oh, I'm so sleepy.
Sorry to drag you out so early, but we've got an emergency. We have a big problem, bigger than all of us gods.
Huh? What is that?
And Palutena blames the underworld and nature's battle for summoning them, meaning it hadn't been that long, maybe a week or two at most. But then, of course, Reese snaps back, saying that it's most likely Palutena and the underworld's battle.
Greedy, it was you and Hades who lured the Aurum to our world.
What? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard!
Well, Pyron said they're beckoned by destruction and corruption. They were likely drawn here by the war between the underworld and nature.
Convenient how you've forgotten your little trip with the underworld.
Convenient how you've forgotten a massive creature bomb visible from space.
You, zip it.
Problem is, even if we assume that it was Palutena and Medusa's battle that started the Aurum coming in this direction, assuming they had no pit stops, that's still crossing most of the galaxy in only like 25 years. And Pitt can run in circles around Aurum troops, so it really isn't that crazy for him to have this speed. Lastly, Lord Dentos, the god of the Forge. He created a galaxy in his workshop. Yeah, he just did that. Beats me. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know what that does to the scaling for Palutena, but he's created one in his workshop, and I mean, I would assume that some measure of speed could be extrapolated from this. Like, but yet again, this speed is not unreasonable. Does it make sense? I mean, yes, it makes sense. Does it feel weird? Absolutely, it feels weird. Beats me, guys. But that's power scaling for you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Remember to stay spectacular. JoJo out. Bye-bye.